The attic door groaned like an ancient beast awakening, its hinges protesting the intrusion after years of disuse. Lisa, heart hammering against her ribs, squeezed past the cobweb-draped frame, the musty air thick with the scent of forgotten dreams and long-dead spiders. Dust motes danced in the single shaft of sunlight piercing the gloom, illuminating a chaotic tableau of forgotten treasures and discarded burdens. A chipped porcelain doll with vacant eyes stared at her from a dusty shelf, its smile a grotesque parody of innocence. A tarnished silver locket lay nestled amongst a pile of faded photographs, a forgotten memory whispering from its depths. Lisa shivered, not from the cold, but from a growing unease that prickled at the back of her neck. She'd always been drawn to the attic, a forbidden realm of childhood fantasies and whispered family secrets. Her grandmother, a woman of formidable spirit and even more formidable eccentricity, had filled it with a lifetime's worth of accumulated belongings. Now, after years of neglect, the attic felt less like a storage space and more like a forgotten tomb, heavy with the weight of the past. Lisa began to explore, her flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. A faded tapestry depicting a grotesque, otherworldly creature hung from a rafter, its spectral eyes seeming to follow her every move. She brushed past a stack of antique trunks, their leather bindings cracked and brittle. One, bound in iron and adorned with strange symbols, caught her eye. It emanated a strange, unsettling energy, as if it held a secret it yearned to unleash. Curiosity, a dangerous siren song, compelled her to investigate. With trembling hands, she wrestled with the rusty locks, the hinges groaning in protest. Finally, with a triumphant click, the trunk sprang open, revealing a scene that sent a jolt of icy terror through her veins. Instead of the expected trove of forgotten treasures, the trunk was filled with a mass of writhing, insect-like creatures. Their bodies, elongated and translucent, shimmered with an eerie luminescence. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of them, writhed in a grotesque, pulsating mass, their many legs a blur of motion. Lisa recoiled, her breath catching in her throat. Panic clawed at her, but an inexplicable fascination held her captive. She leaned closer, peering into the writhing mass. The creatures were beautiful in a disturbing, alien way. Their bodies, iridescent and multifaceted, shifted and shimmered like opals. She noticed a faint, rhythmic pulsing emanating from within the mass, a heartbeat that resonated deep within her own chest. As she watched, the creatures began to coalesce, their individual bodies merging into a single, amorphous form. It grew larger, more defined, until it resembled a grotesque, humanoid figure, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly light. Lisa felt a strange, hypnotic pull towards the creature, as if it were beckoning her closer. Suddenly, the creature's eyes, large and black, opened. They were filled with an ancient, malevolent intelligence, a cold, predatory gleam that chilled her to the bone. A low, guttural moan, like the wind howling through a graveyard, emanated from its depths, sending shivers down her spine. Terror, raw and primal, seized her. She scrambled backwards, her heart pounding like. The creature, however, remained motionless, its gaze fixed on her with unsettling intensity. Lisa felt a strange, paralyzing fear, as if the creature were draining the life from her with its gaze. She turned and fled, stumbling down the attic stairs, her heart hammering against her ribs. She didn't stop running until she reached the safety of her room, slamming the door behind her and locking it with trembling hands. For days, Lisa was plagued by nightmares. The creature from the attic haunted her dreams, its eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence, its grotesque form stretching and contorting in impossible ways. She couldn't shake the feeling that it was still watching her, its presence a constant, suffocating weight in the air. She tried to convince herself it was just a hallucination, a figment of her overactive imagination. But the memory of the writhing mass of creatures, the creature's unsettling gaze, remained burned into her mind. She couldn't ignore the strange, unsettling energy that seemed to emanate from the attic, a presence that clung to her like a shroud. Desperate for answers, Lisa began to research the history of the house. She discovered that it had been built in the 18th century by a reclusive alchemist, a man rumored to have dabbled in the occult. The local folklore spoke of strange occurrences in the house, whispers of unseen entities and unnatural phenomena. Lisa found an old, leather-bound book hidden in the attic, its pages filled with arcane symbols and cryptic writings. It was the alchemist's journal, a chilling record of his experiments in the dark arts. He wrote of summoning ancient spirits, of manipulating the forces of nature, of pushing the boundaries of human understanding. As she delved deeper into the journal, Lisa began to understand the nature of the creature in the attic. It was not a natural being, but a manifestation of the alchemist's dark magic, a creature of pure energy, born from his twisted desires. It was a being of shadow, a creature of nightmares, tethered to the house by the alchemist's tormented soul. The journal also revealed a way to banish the creature, a complex ritual that required a rare and powerful artifact. Lisa, armed with the knowledge from the journal, set out to find the artifact, a silver chalice said to be imbued with the power of the moon. Her search led her to an antique shop deep within the city, where she found the chalice nestled amongst a collection of dusty trinkets. It was more beautiful than she had imagined, its silver surface intricately engraved with ancient symbols. As she held it in her hands, she felt a surge of power, a tingling sensation that spread through her limbs. With the chalice in her possession, Lisa returned to the attic. The air was thick with a palpable sense of dread, the creature's presence more intense than ever. It watched her from the shadows, its eyes burning with malevolent glee. Lisa, her heart pounding, began the ritual. She traced the symbols from the journal on the floor of the attic, her voice trembling as she recited the ancient incantation. The air crackled with energy, the shadows deepening, the temperature plummeting. The creature reacted with a guttural roar, its form shifting and contorting, its eyes blazing with fury. It lunged at Lisa, its shadow extending like a grasping hand, but she was prepared. She raised the silver chalice, its surface shimmering with an ethereal light. As the creature drew closer, Lisa poured the blood of a white dove, a sacrifice demanded by the ritual, into the chalice. The blood, as if drawn by an unseen force, ignited, the chalice overflowing with a blinding white light. The creature shrieked, its form dissolving into a swirling vortex of shadows. The attic was plunged into darkness, the only sound the frantic beating of Lisa's heart. When she could finally see again, the creature was gone. The air, once thick with dread, was now fresh and clean. The attic, once a place of shadows and fear, now felt peaceful, almost serene. Lisa, exhausted but triumphant, left the attic, closing the door firmly behind her. She never returned, the memory of the creature and the alchemist's dark legacy forever etched into her soul. The house, however, remained. It stood on the edge of town, a silent sentinel of the past, its windows reflecting the ever-changing light of the sky. Some say that on dark, moonless nights, a faint, ethereal glow can be seen emanating from the attic, a whisper of the creature's lingering presence. But Lisa never returned to find out. She had faced the darkness, conquered her fear, and escaped the clutches of the creature from the attic. She had learned that the past, with all its secrets and shadows, could never truly be forgotten, but it could be overcome. And sometimes the most terrifying monsters were not the ones that lurked beneath the bed, but the ones that resided within the depths of our own souls.